the LCK, but I find it very difficult to relate to these types of games where I've never been in a situation as a competitive gamer where I'm like, on such a loss streak, right, in such a competitive league, and I won a game a few days ago, right, and now I'm like, I almost won a second game against a really good team and then lost it. Like, what is your headspace coming into this game? Because I can imagine a lot of things, but, I mean, this is so extreme that I can't pretend to know how these players are feeling right now.
Closest we can get is like a really long solo queue loss streak, but even that, like, nobody's watching that really. Especially not on this level, of course. So it's difficult for sure. That's really all we can say. As a lot of the same bans come through, except this time Jace instead of Karma.
The Scion is gone, so take Perfect's Jace away. I guess that kind of makes sense. I mean, we saw what Perfect did to T1 on Jace, despite the loss. Man, it was actually insane in that telecom war earlier this week. Looking like a first pick Karma angle. However, instead, Caitlyn Bard looks like is what they want to play.
Yeah. And if they do go like Jhin Karma, you could potentially go like Kate Lux, right? If you wanted something just a little bit more aggressive that could potentially trade back. The issue is that Lux doesn't have the greatest time into Karma, but if you do land a binding, then you're having a good time.
Yeah. I think both are strong options. I would prefer the Bard into the Karma specifically that I think we are going to get here, but we'll see what they choose, what they opt for. Kind of a tricky play here from DN Soopers to kind of turn this on its head and say, aha, now you have to play the Karma Jhin, and they look like they're considering potentially another option here, but I just don't think it's wise. Like, they could have played Jhin Bard into Caitlyn Karma, but I think that's probably not what they want. And it is going to be the Lee Sin that goes through this time, so this feels like basically Pyosik is just saying, I'm going to do my best with what I like to play. And when you're sitting at the scoreline that DNS is sitting at right now, I think that's a fair option. They'll take the Annie, which is something I was calling for in draft in game 1 for Clozer, so he won't have his hands on it here. Sets up the Jhin Karma really well. When you have the Karma, you want to find all forms of aggressive CC that you can in your draft because the Karma doesn't have as much of that built into her kit. Moving into the second phase, we're looking at topside, the soul lanes here for DN Soopers. Kali taken away from Clozer, so more comfort bans.
Yeah, definitely a good call. DuDu, I think it's pretty difficult to ban out. I mean, maybe they want to take away Aurora from Clozer. I feel like we always talk about the Aurora into Annie, but as of the last couple of weeks, I feel like we haven't seen it as much as we used to. Even just the Aurora in general. Still decently common, but used to see this matchup like all the time. Like if Annie was picked and Aurora was a ban, that was like the slam lock-in we always got.
Yeah. I think it will likely be banned. I mean, otherwise, we have seen a few mid laners experiment with the Victor pick. I'll ban Cassante, actually, which is not necessarily telling of what we will see in this game, but maybe looking for a Rumble pick is what I would guess.
Yeah.
As it seems like the Cassante specifically into Rumble has done very well because you have to be in such close range. The Cassante, it's really easy to hit your Q knock-up and knock back. So will they ban Rumble here, or will we see something else entirely is the question. They're not in a position here where the jungle pool, I think, is what you want to be focusing. Pantheon makes sense because it's global, but they will otherwise say, Cuzz, we don't need to ban jungle because so much is already gone in terms of what's meta here. The Rumble will go through as a result of that Renekton ban, though, and it feels like this is what DuDu wants, but why? We're about to find out. Could go for... Okay, it's going to be the Ambessa, so I was going to say it could be a flexible Aurora. Said it's going to be Galio into the Annie, which we've seen so many times. It's okay in this comp. They have a lot of engage. There's so much of it for deokdam to follow up on. Damage-wise, though, it's just Duckers. Okay, that's the only one that could really hurt the bad guys.
Yeah. The Fury seems pretty good.
Yeah, it looks really good in this draft, actually, with the Jhin and the Annie setup.
Yeah, just avoid, the top. Might just go Trundle, too. I think Trundle's pretty good as well.
Yeah, I mean, there's just not a whole lot of things that can hurt you while you're trying to set up for fights. So you don't really need to pick something tanky. Yeah. And their comp is not necessarily dive, and the fact that like if you go into Fury, you can follow up on a good equalizer and burst somebody down and get a reset, and obviously you're very sticky. You can avoid any sort of CC that's trying to peel when you go up into the air and avoid it with your W. But the Rumble Pillar in itself can make a choke point for an equalizer, can disrupt the front line. If the Galio is trying to set up for a taunt, maybe you put that pillar up and then he can't get out while the rest of the team is kind of floundering, trying to get away. This makes this composition feel a lot more sticky. It feels like the Rumble and the Tibbers value is going to go up with the pillar as well. This Trundle is just so difficult to take down. The Ambessa, who's already not that tanky, just ends up getting ulted by the Trundle and having a rough time as well when she's trying to go in.
Yeah.
So I like it, actually. I'm with you.
Also, Pillar Deadly Flourish is like really kind of funny because it's insanely long root potential. You don't even have to commit at all. You could be like nearly a screen away, just throw up a pillar and set up a Deadly Flourish potential, and then maybe you can follow up with an equalizer. Definitely a lot of annoying stuff here on the side of KT, and we'll see how they do put it together. Game 1 was a little bit messy, but they still got the win. This time on the side of DNS, a pretty easy comp, I would say. If everybody goes in all together, we'll see what happens as we hop on the ref for Game 2. And you can hear we're on the DNS side. They are desperate once again to try to get another win on the board.
Absolutely.
I was hoping that one game win would kind of revitalize them a little bit and kind of teach them what it's like to win once again, especially because it was 30 games in a row that they lost. But unfortunately, still not able to seal the deal.
I mean, the early game
in Game 1
was fine, right? But yeah, like you said, couldn't close it out, but having a good start there, which is more than we could say for a majority of those 30 losses. As we did mention, I was like, when we were rolling around 8 minutes, I was like, hey, wait a second. As the one thing I think that Nefiri does that this Trundle does not do in this draft, is we're going to have a bit of a barrier trade, is to blow up the Caitlyn instantly, right? Like with a lot of damage. And if the Caitlyn dies in this draft for DNS, DNS also dies. They cannot really win the fights. The Ambessa later on kind of does damage, right? We've seen this in Galio, depending on the build, can do a little bit as well. I'm not trying to say they do 0 damage, but into the face of everything that is KT right now, you aren't going to win that fight if you don't have the Caitlyn almost every single time.
Yeah.
Unless they go like so deep to kill the Caitlyn that everybody gets CC'd by the Galio taunt, etc. while they're doing it. But my point really being here that deokdam has a huge responsibility in this game. His flash cooldown is something we're going to be tracking very carefully. The Caitlyn trough in the mid game is going to be where he's most vulnerable. And if they consistently focus him down, then this composition just doesn't work for DNS.
Yeah. It really feels like a very fun game for aiming in this one, as Pyosik just going to get pillared. He's like, well, not much I can do about that. And this is a very common thing we see nowadays in the LCK is you do the bot side of your jungle. If you have prio on the bot side of the map and you know that the enemy jungler is starting on the top side of the map, you just go in and take the blue. And there's really not much that they can do unless you kind of mess it up.
This is why teams pick blue side, for this specific reason. Amongst, obviously, Baron and other things, but that in particular is so valuable when you are on blue side and you have a winning lane. They have the Karma lane because DNS opted to go for the Caitlyn Bard, and so far, CS-wise, fairly even there, but you can see that's what you use the prio for in this early game to get advantages elsewhere. Pyosik does even things out, of course, and is actually looking for potentially an aggressive play down here. They have control vision, but, I mean, he's Lee Sin, so if he goes on to effort there, he will just walk away. Doesn't have CC at this moment in time.
Yeah, we've kind of in an awkward spot. As Jhin and Karma, I was talking about the pillar, but Karma can set up the Deadly Flourishes amazingly. The Rumble even, if the Jhin gets there a little bit later, you throw an equalizer down. You can catch someone if they're out of position. I feel like aiming will be feasting in this one as long as he doesn't... I mean, even if he does fall behind, you don't even necessarily need him to do a ton of damage with the Rumble in the composition.
Yeah. Agreed. See how much of a lead Perfect can get this time, because this is a matchup that has gone both ways. But generally, Rumbles do end up winning out and generating small advantages. We haven't talked about it in a while because Rumble's been permabanned and Perfect has evolved as a player, but this was like his one-trick pick for a really long time, and it's cool that we get to see him play it again here now that it is very relevant, and he gets a chance to because Rumble's priorities dropped a little bit, so he isn't just banned every single game. But I expect that he's going to have a good performance on this pick because he's so known for it. It was that in the Udyr that I've always mentioned, but he has really broadened his horizons. Now he's arguably the scariest Jhin that LCK has.
He's definitely played it the most. As Clozer is going to... Okay, they're going to try to turn this one around as double flash comes out for BDD and Cuzz. They say, you know what gets us in trouble is early game shenanigans. Let's just not even engage.
Yeah, they definitely pressed F to opt out in this situation.
Well, actually, BDD pressed D.
Yeah, you're right. He's
assuming that... I think now you can change... Honestly, I don't even know because I just used the defaults with F on, flash on F, obviously.
Yeah, I'm not a Dalasher. I used to be. But
that's crazy. You changed like halfway through your career?
It was only like a year I was a Dalasher.
No.
I was like
you realized you were wrong?
Works. Yeah, I realized the error of my ways.
Yeah.
I mean, look, BDD is the only Dalasher I accept.
What about
his nickname? His nickname is B the Dalasher. So...
What about
I don't accept Def being a Dalasher. I like Def as a person, but I'm like, he's not perfect. Like, he has some things he can work on still.
Yeah, Perfect also a Dalasher, so I'm glad you do mention it. No Pillar Steal here. No 1 damage. Dragon take from Cuzz. And, yeah, Pyosik just going to take down the Dragon. Not really able to keep the pressure on down the bottom side.
Yeah. I don't know what that zoom-in was all about. I guess seeing if Clozer could deny Tibbers and get the gold. Like, zoomed way in as if BD was about to drop a Tibbers or something.
BD stunned him. Maybe Clozer missed the cannon. I actually didn't see
that might have been it.
What the wave was at, but I don't see a cannon, so perhaps. Just
Mayhap.
guessing.
Maybe.
Mayhem.
Mayhem.
You play a lot of Aaron Mayhem?
I haven't really played that much of it, no.
But you have so much time nowadays.
Yeah.
I can't even get through the sentence without just losing it.
I did just move, and I have spent a majority of my time that is not with my daughter cleaning my room.
Yeah.
And I'm actually getting close. I've made real progress.
Wow.
Today I finished my shelves.
Hasn't it been like 2 weeks?
It's been a month.
It's been a month, wait. You're still cleaning your room?
Well, I mean, like, for those who don't know, I have a lot of old esports memorabilia and old retro games and stuff. Like, I have a very hefty collection of old things that need to be carefully categorized and put, which normally I didn't, but this time I've decided I'm actually doing a really good job of organizing. As we're going to see Aiming try to kill Peter.
Yeah.
And or just get tempo here.
Harass ult. I mean, it does a lot. It's going to get ducked on pretty low. Jhin has very nice wave clear, so I think, nothing really happening. He just ults and says, well, I'm just going to force you to back.
Yeah, so pretty successful, and they will push this wave in. deokdam, they have a lot of vision control here, actually, and I don't know if deokdam, he's going to choose to stay, but it could have been a risky. They're playing into a Trundle. It's not like he's going to die, so it ends up being okay for DNS's bottom laners.
Well, if you have a big collection of many different things, I'm curious, do you have like one of those tiny little dust brushes?
I've actually been looking into buying one.
Really?
Because dusting them off with a duster and or like trying to basically prevent dust from getting into all storage boxes is very annoying and challenging. And I'm ready to see if maybe there's a way to make sure that it's easier to clean when dust does occur.
That makes sense. When I think of like a big collector, I always imagine like they have the glasses on and like the tiny little brush in between their pointer and thumb. Wolf, also, do you say wait in line or wait online?
I definitely say wait in line. Unless
Why
I'm
are
like
New Yorkers so strange?
If I was, for example, waiting for pre-orders to open for something I was going to buy, and I was pressing F5 or staying on my keyboard, then I would wait online. Like I'm online shopping, waiting for something. But otherwise, yeah, I'm in line.
I feel like rationally it makes sense. I don't know why I don't know if it's a New York thing. I still don't know. Or if it's just like me. But everybody I know says online, and nobody else does.
Well, I actually, weirdly enough, recently, after living abroad for so long, and I've been around so many people who are not American who speak English, right? Like, international English ends up being kind of its own language. I've started saying in queue, or being in queue, or queue up, and instead of saying line, because I find that most people around me say that instead of line. So I feel like I'm trying to hide my Americanness. I'm like, no, I'm cool. I say the international thing.
You say football as well. You're like, oh yes, we use our feet on the ball.
The thing is, like,
so clearly
we got to talk
football.
about that, because as an American, we say soccer. Okay, that's how it is. And I don't actually, every time I say soccer, no matter where I am in the world that isn't America, someone has to go, you call it soccer, though? Yeah. And you guys need to stop that, all right? That's annoying, all right? Like, seriously. Like, I just don't even want to bring it up. I don't even want to talk about football anymore because somebody's going to say that.
You mean soccer, right?
And if I say football, somebody will also be like, isn't it weird that you said football?
You're American? Like, don't you say soccer?
I don't want to talk about the sport because of people like you.
Especially it's because I'm an American and I'm like, do you mean like the NFL? Or like, that will also happen in reverse.
Yeah.
So it's like, there's no winning. So, and in short, that's why Americans don't pay attention to soccer. Football. I don't know. There's not a lot happening in this game, guys.
No, but it's good to. It was good to get that off my chest. To be honest with you,
I felt like you've been holding on to
I have
for a long
just,
time.
Just stop it. There's no reason for you to just assume that because I'm American, either of those things that I've said is something that you need to try to criticize me for. All right?
Yeah. I heard as well, I'm not sure if it's true, but that British people came up with the term soccer, and then they stopped saying it at some point after we started saying it.
So
it's like kind of their fault, but not really.
Curious, but aiming, that's a quick flash. He prevents the flash kick. Good call. And we're back to podcast mode.
I'm like, yeah, take it away, Wolf. Get in there.
I just felt kind of guilty. We weren't doing the game casting that much, so I felt like I needed to step in real quick.
There are some new viewers that are very upset about that. It is what it is. They don't get it. They will soon. If this happens enough, they'll understand.
In terms of the game that's happening, we do have a Dragon contest here. BDD.
Perfect. Okay. It's going to flash away. Looks like he has Nimbus Cloak, so he gets out of range.
He used his equalizer on the wave, I guess. That's what it looks like earlier, is it didn't have it. And he has teleport advantage, so he thought, okay, I'll just TP back with a huge advantage, but ended up kind of backfiring, and now he's going to lose a plate and his flash. Longest time without first blood.
We're close. We haven't gotten there yet, actually. 12 minutes and 31 seconds. But unless we get a kill in the next 10 seconds, I think we're going to beat it. Hextech Soul again. Last game, it didn't really have much of a impact on the way the game was played.
It will matter a lot, though, in this game with DNS having a 2 Drake lead in a really slow game state where the Caitlyn is just getting more and more dangerous as the game goes on. Obviously, we haven't really hit the point where she's going to be in the most threat yet, but does have first item collector here. And I think given the enemy composition, I like first item collector here for the Caitlyn, even though it's pretty common in standard. Feels like it's a good buy. It might actually be relevant in an early fight that we have upcoming here on Soul Point. As otherwise, we're back to not doing the killing of the champions or fighting for objectives until that Herald does spawn. A lot of damage done to this turret, as DuDu did not have teleport, and it looked like they just struggled to figure out, are you just going to lose this? No, they'll save it. Right?
I mean, Bard's there. I suppose Peter could ult it. deokdam's alone in mid because Bard is bot, as I just mentioned. He's trying to take down BDD, but one stun will get the kill. Very curious about why he was just there by himself in a precarious situation.
I think DNS were very curious about a lot of things, and then deokdam got the first look in, as they didn't respond to the turret push until very late without having either of their solo laners teleports. deokdam was mid. So if you look at the map right now, as well. Deokdam is like, well, I guess I'll, since we kind of messed it up, it's like he's greeting here to try to get this wave without information. And tries to go for the barrier outplay. I don't think really can do it. I don't think there's a flash angle there where he avoids the cone and gets a kill onto BDD there. So he just goes down. It's our latest first blood, but it is now first blood.
All right, we have some lore about online. We might have to wait on that, though. As Pyosik goes in, immediately gets rooted by kind of everything. Aiming just Ghost Blades out of the way of the Bard ult. It's definitely a good item against that champion. And there's going to be the pillar. I mean, that's going to be another root that comes down. And again, the catch potential so good. Oh, no, they just move out of the way, and Pyosik just dies. They just let him die, and now they don't have a Lee Sin, and Clozer's by himself. And it just falls apart early here for DNS.
Rough one. I mean, it's like KT just waiting for a fish to bite the line. You know, we bite the bait and they pull the line up, and they're just reeling. And DNS are reeling after that lost fight. Now 0-3 in this game. And I mean, the step away there, it's so tragic because they don't get. He doesn't live. Like, the Galio dies anyways.
Yeah.
It doesn't really impact anything, but I guess in the heat of the moment, it's just a lot of chaos, a lot of struggles in terms of shot calling. As it's pillar into Pyosik, right? Then the follow-up stun is there. Isn't live. We're just dive onto perfect.
Yeah, Equalizer not going to do a whole lot here, as there's the ult from the Ambessa. Peter tanks a lot and does get a kill at the very last or a heal at the very last moment. No kill for him. As the kill did go over to DuDu. I mean, maybe that's where their bread will be buttered in this game.
Yeah, a Herald here dropped in the mid lane as a response. Pillar just denying the attempted defense here, and Cuzz is going to charge.
He went in, hit the turret for the overgrowth, went out into the Rift Heralds.
That was
I'll
slick.
take that cue.
Maximize damage, do not. He doesn't. All right, so killed the Rumble. Lost 4 plates in mid total. Got the Rumble's TP now. Hextech Soul Point. This is it. DNS need to get this. I think this is really quintessential for a possible win in a possible Game 3. As Perfect clears the wave here, but there are 4 members. Peter ends up taking a ton of damage. Chugs his potion. Gets the last minute heal. Barely survives there. Otherwise, Perfect gets a kill back, which would have kind of nullified the play in itself because it didn't even get the turret. And this is, in 30 seconds here, I feel like where we're going to see DNS either win or lose this game. Because I don't think with everything else that's going on the map, you could just go, well, we have a 2-dragon lead, we'll give this up. Because then you've just given all your tempo and all the control. I think you have to fight, but Caitlyn's sitting on a BF sword like, I'm deep in the trough. I'm not ready to do the team fighting yet.
Yeah, she's pretty far away from that. I mean, the Jhin, as we mentioned before, he can just kind of enable the team at this point and find so many ways to catch the opponents and do a bit of damage. They have other pieces of damage. In goes Cuzz. He's just running into them. Like, DNS are like, oh yeah, you can just come in here and clear our ward, sure. No recourse. They don't want to go all in onto the Trundle, understandably. So, pretty difficult, I suppose, for DNS, as that will be the Tempered Fate, but it's only onto the Rumble. That is a massive equalizer, as Deokdam and Peter are already super low, and they have to get out of there. I mean, they just have to leave. Deokdam going to flash out with the barrier. Perfect. Oh, no, he hits both shots to Zaiming, and another one into DuDu. As, man, he is just lining them up. The Jhin is having so much fun in this game, and you were saying it, Wolf, this fight will dictate what will happen in this game, and I think we know where it's going.
This is why they call him aiming. He aims the shots and he lands them. As, I mean, initially it's the flourish here, doesn't matter too much, but DNS, this equalizer. Like, now what do? Do you like stay in the fight? You can't really walk forward. This ended up eating so much damage. Like, they should have been more decisive on the call to either leave, which I think was the right call, or to just kind of send it into the fight. Is this one,
2,
this one, and then
3,
one more.
And flash.
So he hits it effectively.
Yeah.
And there's just no, I mean, you flashed the Jhin ult, like you didn't get hit by the curtain call, but you still died. And 5,000 gold lead now. And I don't think this will be the second win for DNS this season.
Yeah, I think Perfect actually might just be fine. We do have the kick coming in here, the Karma right there, and they don't have the damage to chunk through even a Rumble at this point. BDD does come in. Man advantage at the moment for DNS, but now the Trundle shows up, and all of a sudden, they are on the run. The stun goes in onto Clozer as he's not able to heroically exit the fight, and he will be now exiting the fight in a different manner.
Completely dismantled, and it looks like what you said about KT and the coaching staff being like, hey, play the early game a little bit cleaner. We had a late first blood. KT had that double flash for Cuzz and BDD. They opted out. They did not go for any sort of crazy dive attempts early on to get a huge lead. They just kind of played it slow and waited for DNS to make a mistake. And a few mistakes stacked up. And now KT are just so big that this proactive play here for DNS, which is a great call to try to pinch Perfect, this doesn't work out because they're able to match the rotation here. Ambessa on the opposite side of the map does not have teleport as well. So you've got this gold lead, you've got the man advantage, and Perfect's itemization allows him just enough health to walk it off. And I mean, insult to injury, Clozer gets interrupted, like you mentioned, with his ultimate. And now it's 5,000, the gold lead, and maybe DNS are in or online for the next match to see if that one will be the one that breaks the streak. But there are no more matches, by the way, for them.
Well, yeah.
They are not going to, like, by the way, just to put this into perspective.
Here's round 3.
Well, here's what I'm saying. They will not play professional League of Legends for weeks and weeks after this game right here if they lose this game. They will, I mean, they will be scrimming, right, practicing, preparing. But all of the good teams you want to scrim against on the opposite group aren't going to be in Korea. They're going to be traveling around the world doing all the stuff that you're not doing because you're 1-16. So this is the last time to play in front of the stage to give those fans what they've been waiting for in a long time. It starts to feel like that is just not happening here.
I liked that we got a little taste of the Wolf harsh truth speech, which sometimes we do get, and it is very true, and that's why it's the harsh truth. A 1-in-16 moment. Yeah, they're going to try to send it. We'll see what happens as they're going to catch efforts. The Sonic Wave is going to miss. Effort doesn't have flash, as there is a massive Tibbers-Zana too. deokdam in a lot of trouble. He's actually able to get peeled on, and down does go the Annie. He's now up a man here is DNS, but they're still backing away. The shots ringing true as they line up. Pyosik gonna block that last one.
Clozer looks like he's just giving everybody a hug as they get the kill onto the Annie. The ultimate there from Clozer was pretty good. Helps peel for him, and then they are able to, with his damage, get out. So watch this again. DuDu comes for the flank here. Fight is somewhat split, right? Effort gets away, and BDD stun comes through, but he's alone. Like, he flashes over, and Cuzz is denying them entry, or denying their exit. They have to kind of regroup there. And then they block for Duckers after the Annie kill. So, I mean, one step in the right direction, I suppose.
Yeah.
Supposing they take a second step in the right direction, Valdes.
Yeah.
Look at that gold graph. That's going in the direction of the DN SOOPers. That's going down. It's a downward trend.
Yes. For KT Rolster.
Yes.
Specifically.
An upward trend for DNS.
Yeah, you just got to flip the graph upside down, which actually does make sense.
It's all about how you display the data.
Yeah.
And since KT's the ones that had the previous lead, it goes down.
Yes. BDD's in top lane. He's holding onto his stun. He has TP. If DNS want to fight this, they have a lot of work to do. And this being the Hextech Drake, of course, in 30 seconds. You can still give a second one away. I think it might actually be the right call, especially when your Caitlyn has now a Storm Razor. Instead, we are going to have Clozer TPing in. He has his Rift Maker, and they do want to fight for this.
Okay, here comes a BDD flank as well. Pyosik maybe unaware. Pyosik!
Just going to go in on a Pyosik. Yeah, that is a bunch of damage into the Lee Sin, and even the Lee Sin will be squishy enough to be burst down here.
Yeah, and even the root went off for effort there as well as he's trying to get away. And this is looking like a second Hextech Dragon here for KT Rolster. No jungler to challenge a smite, and DNS also can't do Baron. There is no play, actually, except to just walk away and hope you can get some more farm for Duckers. and hold on tightly, clutch tightly to your 2 Drake lead. At least you know that KT will only have 2 Hextech Dragons after this. Peter's
going in, trying to get aiming. And I feel like they almost scared KT. Like, I think they could have maybe turned and killed the Bard, but instead they're like, oh, whoa, what's going on? Like, why is he doing that?
Yeah, that's kind of how I felt, because we did have all the information, but nothing crazy does happen. There is no punish. And when you're this far behind, sometimes making a odd call like that can be the right one. It can be what saves you. Surprising call that no one expects. Pyosik did not expect BDD to be that close rotating down, and he died.
Yeah, maybe assumed that he is Lee Sin. He can jump out of the way if need be, but coming out of the shadows there was BDD. I also like that the pillar went on to deokdam, so it was like, oh, they're going for deokdam. And so maybe Pyosik was just not expecting them to just kill him instead. We did have that Drake go down, and KT, I suppose they could try to go for a start on the Baron.
Yeah. You know, I keep thinking about Pony's prediction. I just keep thinking about it. I feel like I'm looking at this and I'm like, Pony, you got some explaining to do.
I keep thinking about the 98-2.
Yeah.
From, where was that?
I thought that was Uribank, I think.
Yeah, I think it was. Uribank. As now they're going to throw everything, this time in a Peter. And they say, well, it's just a Bard. DNS don't really have a way to get out, but Pyosik going to attempt to. Immediately he just gets stunned up and will kick, but he has to flash and then does go down anyway. As there are the curtains opened up once again.
You know, in horse racing, obviously there's
I know all about that.
Who like hedge their bets, you know, and they're like, I think this horse. I feel like the way I'm imagining this right now is like a bunch of really thoroughbred, like well-trained horses that have a lot of experience racing, and then one pony. Who's actually just Pony the caster, but it makes sense because his name was Pony, and he's trying to get this prediction to work, and he's like, no, trust me, bet on Pony, bet on Pony. There it is.
Don't bet on the Pony.
Look, he may be young,
horses,
but this Pony's got a world championship in 2022.
Yeah,
and actually isn't young, but yeah, this year is just. It's a gold lead. It's an impressive composition. Pyosik is desperate. And like you said before, I guess we have to make a lot of assumptions. Like maybe he thought he's really mobile. He can make this happen, but
yeah. You got to find the angles, you know. We don't have a sheet for that.
No.
We don't really have a disclaimer sheet for KT. We have a different kind of sheet for KT.
Yeah, it's actually like about 27 pages long. It's not really a sheet.
More of a short story.
Which is also a manual.
Yeah, you need to like take an evening to get that as the taunt comes in. Where's the rest of the team? As we do have the Ambessa, but now the Temper Fate actually helps, as that's actually just going to peel for Aiming, who flashes away. And that's why Bard is a very difficult champion, and not everybody can pilot it to a high level. I mean, they're pretty far behind, so I'm not sure if 100% they still take down Aiming, but it allows him a pause for him to just flash away.
They gave the Jhin Azonias.
Yeah.
That's what the Jhin wants. But yeah, it was, like you said, it's a difficult situation.
Remember when 80 carries all took stopwatch?
Yeah.
That was a rune in the past?
Yeah.
Glad
Gale
that's
Force.
not a thing. Oh! Magical Journey, deokdam. Get in it. Get on the line.
Hit perfect. He wants to hit perfect. He wants to do the carrying, and maybe he can with a little help.
Maybe. Look at the pillar slow. It's like, what? Are they even moving?
I mean, come on, deokdam, at least do like the solidarity ult.
Yeah.
It's not going to kill him. We all know it. He knows it. But like at least do the animation of the ultimate, you know, and do the little. I shot him. Oh, he was so close. We were so close. Get the fans.
Nice
the
try,
fans.
nice try.
Maybe clap while it's in the air. As looking for Annie here, or sorry, for Aiming here. Sorry, I don't know why I said Annie. As Annie is here, and then the Tempered Fate buys time for Perfect to come over and equalize. deokdam's pushed away, and once again Pyosik thinks he's mobile. He's on Lee Sin, and nah, I don't know. It's a hard game to commentate. I liked it more when we were in the part of talking about soccer.
Yeah.
and not the tragedy of a 1-17 squad is playing their very last game of competitive League of Legends for a very long time.
Yeah, we won't be seeing them until after MSI.
You know the old saying
is in July.
The old saying, Pyosik.
Hey, he's Lee Sin, he's mobile. I think he gets away here.
He got away! He was mobile!
A man can dream. Yeah, TP comes in, DuDu's like, man, I really wish it were my year. But unfortunately it's not. BDD just TPs to his doom. I guess he trades his life for DuDu for being nice to BDD. And there's the roots. Clozer just going to tank this up for a little bit until he moves out of the way.
I think it's a perfect palm angle. It's a great game for aiming, and he had some great shots, but after the Gnar performance and this Rumble, the equalizers we saw,
yeah,
the lanes, you know, that he has played both generated advantages. I'm kind of perfect pilled today. I think it's him. I think he's the guy.
I think he deserves it, you know. Palms are for one series, but also the way he's playing nowadays, even if they're lost to T1. Just playing really well. And,
yeah, like
he showed up here tonight as well.
Best player now? You know, that's a...
I'd say form-wise, yeah.
It's definitely kind of a weird conversation that we might have to start having, but BDD's sacrifice is not in vain, but they cannot actually end the game. And so the hope is still alive. The dream is still alive. So yes, I am telling you there's a chance, DNS fans. It's only 3 Hextech souls, not 4.
Yeah.
It's only 3 Hextech, or sorry, 3 Hextech dragons. Well, 3 Hextech souls, that's not for sure. But I mean, it is a lot of attack speed and ability haste that the KT players have, which is not ideal. But it's not the slow.
Yeah.
That's the big one.
They have the pillar for that, I guess. There's the TP. Pyosik's got
He's mobile.
Here.
He's Lee Sin.
Maybe perfect. I mean, the taunt comes in, but he has reels on his, and he will utilize that. Also has a big shield from the Karma, as Cuzz just tanks everything. The equalizer is fantastic. He does go in on a Cuzz, though. DuDu finds the angle there. Now Perfect doesn't have his Zhonya's. He's going to go down. And an angle for DNS from this far behind. Clozer, though, is going to be forced to flash away, and aiming is still full health. There's the one shot. Nice binding there from Peter. It's going to save, potentially, deokdam's life.
I mean, for a second, I was like, aiming quadra angle? He has 4 shots. Like, we'll see. Does get another one to land here on Clozer, the flourish. All right, well, it got a little bit messy.
There was a chance, Wolf.
So essentially, Lee Sin, easily Sin, he's mobile in the back line here, is able to threaten a lot. And then they are able to eventually figure out Perfect as the target. Even though he has Zhonya's, the rest of the team can't peel. And then they turn on to Cuzz. And watch Pyosik here as Perfect goes in a little bit too deep. He's super low, but he's like, wait for it. I'm going to go in. They burst him down. And then this taunt attempt doesn't really go very well for Clozer. But if he hits that 3-man, it's probably like a clean ace. And they end up getting a lot of money back off of all the bounties. But instead, it's just kind of a small win for DNS. But trending in the right direction again. The production today is just like, I know exactly what to show. I know exactly what to say when they show it, too.
Our production is really good at their jobs, as it turns out. Clozer is really good at being tanky. He's not the best at some things, but he is the best at being tanky.
Yeah, true. Any more teleport flanks? Clozer's got TPs to clear that wave, but maybe he could find somewhere to be on Galio. That would be uncomfortable for KT. His ultimate's coming back online. KT Baron throw on the cards, maybe? I don't think so. They're actually really well set up here, but let's see what happens.
Perfect, okay. Could be in a little bit of trouble. Oh, that stun on a DuDu is big, as that does mean it's going to buy a lot of time for DuDu to not join the fight. And they do take down the Rumble, but eventually the other top laner will go down as well. Peter trying to tank up for the squad, and now Clozer, who is the best at being very tanky, even as a Zhonya's potion goes in and gets shot down as he immediately dies to Aiming, who at this point, you know, I said at the beginning of the game, Aiming's going to have a great time on Jhin in this game, and especially from this far ahead, he is just having a ball.
Yeah, he's making me reconsider my Perfect vote. I think I'm still going to go Perfect, but Aiming had a really good game on the Jhin here. And stay in the base.
It's so slow. It's not fair. Trundle too good. 2-0 to KT Rolster. Definitely what we expected when we saw this match for Saturday Showdown.
I think for the coaching staff, Messi 2-0, a lot to see here.